Hello, it's Eric from E.M.B.R. and today we're doing stage 3 of the Zwift games. It's the first of the climb stages. The sprint stages are over. You can tell from the thumbnail, things start to go up. The A+s can put the screws down on me and things don't always go well. I put down a 6-minute 38-second PB this weekend on Volcano KOM, and I was pretty sure that probably wouldn't keep me with the A+s. But you'll see in the video what happens when I try to chase them. I am going to time-lapse some of these sections, but I'll slow it down for the climbs and other inflection points of the race. And I'll put in chapter markers as well. And as a public service announcement, definitely get in your warm-up before this. The race punches you in the face pretty much right off the bat. It's not the full Zwift KOM, but the front half of it, yeah, it's a little bit of a surge for sure. There's a few little rollers after the turn as well, but after that you start to descend and it gets into the flats before the volcano. I'm kind of hoping after that initial surge on the first half of the Zwift KOM and those little rollers, I'm kind of hoping it's gonna stay a little bit calmer. Maybe people keep the powder dry and save it for the volcano. I definitely want to keep my powder dry, as much of it as I have, but you do see some fire socks going off there. It gets a little surgy, and there we are above FTP, and my graph right now is based on that 332 watt FTP that Zwift gave me, which I don't think is accurate. So this is red just being honest. But surge to the front a little bit. Again, I'm trying to stay as efficient as possible, but heart rate's already north of 170 as we go through these rollers, and they get a little bit punchy. Yeah, it is what it is. When I did my KOM testing on the weekend, it was blue and gray leading into the climb, and you just know on a race like this, especially with Zwift games where people are going for time, it's not going to stay calm. It's not brutal, but it's not hit the bottom of the KOM fresh either. So, but yeah, I think the fire socks there. I'm not sure if that's. I know there's a Kim Gwang-suk in this, and his fire socks are always going off because he's cadence multiplying. But either way, it gets a little punchy in here. A little bit of green, yellow, red, orange, whatever. Back to blue, gray. But as we get into the climb here, I know it's going to be interesting for sure. And fire socks right off the bat again. And again, don't know who that is, but they mean business. That arrow's not going to help me. As another note here, I am, I'm trying to learn from the weekend. I'm a little higher RPM wise. I am standing there over that initial bump. I'm trying to take speed over that and then descend, get off the power, and now really get in for what I'm hoping I'll be able to grind out some lower cadence, higher watts, and chase these guys. Can't tell exactly what pace is. I settle in my own pace. Right now I'm just trying to draft and follow these guys and hope they don't go off too hot. I'm a little over 400 watts. Cadence isn't as low as it could be. I'm feeling it in the legs though as well. That's why I'm actually sitting down. I'm not staying standing. The effort I did on this weekend, this is just part of being old. I can feel it in the legs still, even taking a rest day, getting good sleep. We're back down in the low 70s again. I need to learn. I need to practice on this low cadence grinding and just get used to it. I started the pump to the front here, so I sit back down. I don't want to be at the front. But this is definitely quite a bit above threshold. And it's a matter of can you sustain it. And again, I don't catch this live, and it's something I need more practice in on these low cadence grinding. But I'm there, down in the 60s there finally. But wasn't sustaining it. Was ending up doing a mix of standing and sitting. Again, sort of trying to follow the slope there a little bit and get my rest where I could, because I could feel it already in the legs. It wasn't going to be a good day at the office. Might have to do with Saturday when I was doing my testing. That was at like 10 a.m. after a race, but after also proper breakfast, 3 hours to digest it, all those sorts of things. This is 7 in the morning after a bagel and not a lot of time to digest, and trying to chase people that are going up this in about 6:20 is what they end up going at the top at. So it's a little hot. I do want to get to this first flat section here. You can see more fire socks going off. It's definitely, the pace is a little hot. I kick up a little bit as well. It's uneven power, very spiky, not a sort of more stable effort. Catching draft, trying to catch rest. You can see my face. I said no. Now I'm nodding. Yes. Started to shake my head no, and I'm like, no, get into a positive mind space. Don't mail it in yet. But I could already feel that the pace was a little hot, and the legs weren't responding in the way I wanted. The heart rates and getting into 180. It's just not where I want it to be. Catch a little blue, green, gray, and now we're gonna get into the next pop, and I know I need to find the power. More fire socks. It's lovely. I think that's Kim Gwang Suk. I don't know, but it kind of cracking me up. That's demoralizing. Here we go. Find the power, brother. Find the power.
I gotta let it go. Not today.
And yeah, I could feel it. I was like, I'm blowing up. I need to, if I'm going to salvage anything here, I need to sit back, recover, and see what we can do.
Not today.
Yeah, after that, I kind of blue-gray. I'm trying to just mitigate the damage, recover a little bit, get in the right headspace. It's just one of those things where I could tell I was not able to hold the power that they were doing for the next 3 minutes or whatever, 4 minutes it was going to take at that halfway point. So just wanted to get my body right. And then I started to also think, don't mail it in like when you got dropped on McCurry Madness. And so punch the power here a little bit. I'm like, we're gonna salvage something here. You recovered enough. It's not gonna be a great Volcano KOM time. It is what it is. But settle in. Punch up the steep section when you can. I'm sort of just grabbing my legs again here in this little bit, but just trying to get into the headspace of don't mail in the race. You can still put up somewhat respectable time if you don't mail it in. Descend right, so you can maybe catch somebody, but yeah, I'm trying to get the heart rate back down before we push here. But some days are good, some days are bad. It's one of those things. For me on this one, I'm not going to be able to race this again until Thursday, and even then, I don't know that I'm going to. I may end up resting and saving my legs for the weekend in London Uprising, which is also going to be a slog for me. But here we go. I'm like, all right, somebody's coming past me. That can't happen. Just trying to find some power up this final grind.
So horrible. What happens when you bonk chasing? It's ambitious. It's also how you find your limit. At least on the day.
But I do have that carrot out in front of me, so I decide, hey, we can descend. I can use my weight for good for once here instead of the 60 guys tearing me up on the uphill, maybe on the downhill. I know how to descend, so I am punching a little bit here over any like sort of rises, and then taking speed, trying to make sure I can stay in super tuck, and then get punch there, back down into super tuck. Again, there's a guy out in front of me, so it's like just keep the power up, keep the speed up. That's actually why I started putting kilometers per hour on my HUD as well, next to the watts. It's just speed is what matters at the end of the day. So punch again. Yeah, we're starting to catch him. Punch again one more time.
Take that, you 60 kilogram. I wish I could steer.
I'm just being a smart ass about the weight thing here, but yeah, it does feel good to descend somewhat fast after getting my butt kicked on the ascent. But here we go, got 2 of them. My goal for right here is, be on their wheel by the bottom, and then try to pace them in and have a respectable calm at the end. And it looks like the one MCAT, he's dropped off the back. It's just this Zenhua, or I'm going to not say the name correctly, but it's one other rider. And I figure he can keep a reasonable pace here, and I can at least get some value out of draft here. And, right at this point, just trying to drive to somewhat respectable finish time. And knowing that it's probably going to be he and I battling up the Zwift KOM at the end. So... oh my god, calm finish, somebody says. Yeah. Yeah, sadly, after all that, you still got the calm finish to go. But yeah, blue and gray here, getting some recovery, sticking in his wheel, and getting ready for a big punch up the back, or at least as big a punch as I can throw on what are clearly broken legs on a Monday. But
let's get in under 30, come on.
But yeah, 30 minutes is the goal, and finishing ahead of this rider. That's basically, you figure out different goals that get you through the race. And as we head into the KOM, I'm going to let that play out at normal speed and fight to the death. And I'm just going to scroll through the leaderboard here so you can see the times and the general watt per kg that people are putting down. 4.5 to, I think Niall did 5.4.
That's nuts time. How far am I down? Way down. Yeah. Only 3.9. I just blew up trying to chase on Volcano.
And because I'm a smartass, I went out and grabbed the leaderboard right after this race, knowing that this was the first Monday, and not everybody's had a chance to race stage 3 yet. So there I am, top 50, at least until more people finish stage 3. I'll probably fall out of the top 500 at that point, but it's a fun screen capture anyways.
I had no idea that last time. It's probably miserable too. Oh, in context of a race, yeah, 207. And gassed. That was not fun. You sick individual. Oh, I didn't catch my overall time. It was under 30. But I got travel today, tomorrow, Wednesday. I won't be able to sort of enforce rest days. So, on fresher legs, without DOMs from the PBs on Saturday, we'll give it another shot. But even on fresh legs, you could set me at the bottom of that hill on Saturday with those legs setting the PB, still would have got dropped. It's just a bunch of 60, low 60 kg, sub 60 kg people built for climbing. That is not my body. It's not my aerobic profile either. I'm much more glycolytic. Sprint, recover, sprint, recover. Trying to train it, as you saw Saturday if you watched that video. But that's in the context of easing into the climb, going hard at my own pace, knowing right where that level's at and not having to push above it. The difference between 5 to 10 watts under or right at your threshold and 10 to 15 over is bonking like I did. That, and I could feel the DOMs in the legs from that effort on Saturday. That's just me having the realities of age, not being able to recover as quickly, even with a rest day, good food, good sleep in between. I just need, when especially it's like a hard PB effort after a hard race, that takes me a couple of days, at least 2-3 days, to formally somewhat be back to normal. But again, even fresh, those guys blow me off the back on this route. And they had something left in the tank at 620 probably as well. Well, they definitely did. They kept riding. But that's well within their means, I believe. All right, it's enough chatter. We're gonna, pretty much sums it up. We're gonna cool down, lick my wounds. No, I'm what I'm proud of before I check out. What I'm proud of. Losses aren't losses if you turn them into lessons. What I'm proud of. McCurry Madness. Rode super hard. Followed back. Again, blew up at the top of the descent where I thought I was going to get rest. And then I mailed it in. If I hadn't mailed that in, let my body recover for a second like I did here on the descent. It was a perfect opportunity. And then go hard the rest. Probably could have stayed away. Probably would have got a 20-second, 30-second better time than I did. Don't mail it in. I was thinking in terms of just a race, save it for another day. But they dragged me to an overall great time if I had just followed through. Should have finished the race. At effort, not at mailing it in. Today, we learned from that loss, made it a lesson. Blew up chasing, still haven't learned that lesson. Well, I'm trying to find my limit, so I'll take that lesson and that loss. But had it in my head, don't mail it in. They dragged you fast. ITT it if you have to. And then there were some carrots up the road to chase. made it even easier. Sort of the reward for not mailing it in. Use my strength being heavier on the descent, and then rode smart. At the end, I could tell he was weaker than I was, so I stopped drafting. Started trying to cause pain for once. Rare that I can do that in any race. And maybe even chase the carrot up the road, which I knew was not likely, but play mind tricks on your mind. The body will sometimes believe them. So, proud of how we finished in the lesson we learned from the prior loss. And now that's it. There's my nemesis off on the horizon, the volcano. It didn't blow up, I did. I guess that's better for everybody else that I blew up and not the volcano, but yeah. Monday morning on a bagel, chasing A+ riders was not our recipe for success. With DOMs in the legs from Saturday. I could probably roll in some other reasons why, but PBs are PBs for a reason. You don't do them every day. I needed a PB. Plus I popped 1100, but yeah, that is nonsense right there. Not a nice solid line of red, just me spiking and struggling. I did cool down. Wanted to see if the legs would fire on just my own pace in the volcano. They were gone. Rested again, thought maybe I'll do a 2-minute up the Zwift KOM, and I could feel the legs twitching. They're tapped. They're definitely tapped today. It's not what we needed. Way out on all these. I guess 300 for the race.
And here's the intervals. Yeah, I typed it into my comments. Not a good day at the office. Best I can take away is, yeah, didn't give up. Still finished under 30 minutes. But yeah, I could definitely ride this better. Even at my best, I get dropped, but I could definitely do this better. We may get another shot at it, don't know. London Uprising is probably the next thing I'm going to do. Let my legs rest and put a respectable effort into that. But that's it for this one. If you stuck around, definitely give me a comment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the next time.